All right, guys, my little Bitaxe has been running perfectly for the last couple of months. But just recently I noticed on the LCD screen, it's starting to give me an error saying device overheat. Please check the AxeOS settings. So let's dive in and take a look. When we jump into the settings, the AxeOS settings in our phone or on your laptop, I still see it's hashing. Everything is as it was and as it should be. And when I come down to the bottom, I check my power and my heat, and everything looks good. So the fact that everything looks good in the settings, but it's giving me a device overheat on the Bitaxe itself, I can only think that it could possibly be that we need to just reapply some thermal paste to the chip. So I'll show you how to do that. All right, guys, so the first thing you want to do is get yourself some thermal paste. I picked this up on Amazon for about 10, 12 bucks, and you're good to go. I'm working with the Bitaxe 401 Supra, but all the Bitaxes are very much the same. So what we're going to do is we're going to need to remove the fan and the heatsink. So this is the heatsink, and beneath that, on the underside of that, is the actual chip. So we're going to remove this, and we're going to apply the paste. And I have these spring-loaded little feet that I can just push there, and then I'm going to get the needle nose pliers, and we're going to give them a little pinch, and we're going to remove that easily. But if you have the screws, you can use a screwdriver, but just you want to separate the heatsink from the motherboard, and that will get us access to the chip. I got those little pins off, and I'll just get this into view. So now we can separate the heatsink from the chip, and the chip is actually right underneath there. And what we're going to do is we're going to clean that chip with a little bit of rubbing alcohol. We're going to give this a clean, we're going to give this a clean, we're going to reapply, and we're going to be good to go. Okay, so I'm just going to give this a little wipe. I'm going to get all this old paste off, get that all cleaned up the way it should be. And I'm going to bring this up here for you guys. It's a little delicate. Just going to give this a nice. So with a little bit of cleaning, I don't know if you can actually read that. I'm going to try to get it tight there, but that is the chip. That is the Bitmain Antminer S21 chip, and that is the heart of the Bitaxe. So this is the heatsink. It cools that, but we need to apply some of this paste, and we're just going to put a little bead, a little pea-sized bead on top of the actual chip, and then we're going to sandwich it in. We're going to close that like that, and then reapply the screws. Just going to apply a piece size there. Can be quite liberal. All right, so now we're just going to close her up and sandwich that on top, and that'll just distribute that paste nice and evenly. You can just give it and pressure it as you go. All right, just make sure those pins are in tight. You want to have a really snug fit of the heatsink on the chip with the paste in between. And that is how you do it, and hopefully that'll sort out our overheat problem. Just a quick note with the Bitaxe, you want to make sure that you are running the latest firmware and that you have the correct firmware installed on your Bitaxe. So from the dashboard, just go to settings, and then at the bottom here, just say release latest releases, just say check, and it'll run to see this is the latest release. And then just make sure you download these two files into your downloads folder, and then you can come over here, browse, select the file, and open it. And that'll make sure you're running the latest updated version of the Bitaxe. So let's just check in on our little Bitaxe miner. There she is, humming away. Decentralizing the network.